Moving along this week on the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast, we got our Week 4 game picks in the NFL. Sam,
Let's go.
there's a this was tough when I was looking at these games. There's a lot of toss-ups. I think we're going to have some discrepancies here more than usual. I feel like whoever I have on here, we usually pick most of the games the same, but today a lot of toss-ups here in Week 4, and it's only Wednesday. Practice reports, injury reports are still going to come out. But this is how we're feeling right now on the 27th, Wednesday for Week 4. And let's start right here on Thursday night, tomorrow night on Prime Video, Sam. We got a divisional matchup in the NFC North. We got the Lions going to Lambeau Field to take on the Packers. Both teams are 2-1. This game, already talked about it. It's a toss-up. Who you got here?
This is a game that I went back and forth on quite a bit. Um, I got to go with the Lions.
Oof.
I got to go with the Lions. I think there's such a home field advantage for the Packers at Lambeau Field, but it's still summer going into fall. It's not gotten cold yet, which I feel like is a huge advantage for teams like Buffalo and the Packers. But I don't know. There's something about the Lions. I know they had that heartbreaker of a loss to Seattle, but they handled the Falcons pretty well. There's a lot of things to like. They're semi healthy comparatively, and I just got to see more out of Jordan Love. I don't know that he's quite the guy. He's looked good, but got to go with the Lions here.
Yeah, speaking of Jordan Love, he has looked damn good. He is quarterback 4 in fantasy, according to ESPN, which is pretty
Not
wild.
know that.
It's pretty wild. But this is a toss-up game, divisional matchup. I like your point about it not being too cold yet in Wisconsin. I got the Lions on the road. I like what the Packers did last week, coming back from a 17-0 deficit to the Saints. I like that perseverance, that resiliency. But I think the Lions have more talent. We still don't know about Aaron Jones. We don't know about Christian Watson. Without knowing those guys, I'm going Lions.
I think that's a fair point. Yeah, it's going to be a good game. Might be one of the games of the week.
Definitely. Another good game here. We got a London matchup, Sam. The first game over the pond for this season.
Across the pond.
This one's going to be at 7:30 here in Colorado, so check your local listings. But we got the Falcons at 2-1 taking on the Jaguars in their home away from home. They're sitting at 1-2. This game's also a toss-up. What's your thoughts here?
Another toss up. The Falcons are playing better. Um, you got to say that this is a home field advantage for the Jaguars and their owner. And aren't they playing back to back games? Like they're staying in London to play another one the following week, correct?
Keep going, and I'll confirm that.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I've already confirmed against the Bills.
yeah. So, probably be more of an advantage for that second one, but Jacksonville at this point, they've got it down to a science. They're over there in London once a year. Um, I don't like this pick, but I got to go with the Jaguars. I think they're embarrassed after that divisional loss at home to the Texans. They've had moments in games. They kept it close with the Chiefs. Um, but yeah, Doug Peterson's a good coach. Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. They got plenty of weapons, and I think if they can get up early, then the Falcons have to change their game script where they're not running the ball as much. I know they're going to run the ball regardless, but if the team's up on you by a couple of touchdowns, you got to throw the ball. So I like the Jaguars to come out fast, get up, and then just kind of play keep away. And the Falcons are going to be playing from behind. So I got the Jaguars in this one.
Definitely home away from home for the Jaguars here. Like you said, they got their ass beat by 20 last week at home to Houston. Okay, that's a red flag. That's a red flag for me right there, Sam. But Atlanta, like you said, they go there every year. Jaguars go there at least once a year. Atlanta, they're going to go over there. They're going to be sightseeing. They're going to have distractions. People are going to be hitting them up for tickets. They're going to be wanting to go see what's going on in London. I got the Jags here. I got the Jags winning, going back to 2-2. But that that's a scary team right now. That's a big red flag last week.
Yeah.
Moving into our Sunday main slate, the morning games. After that London game finishes, we got the 1-2 Cincinnati Bengals going to Nashville, Tennessee to take on the also 1-2 Tennessee Titans. This is a tight one. I'm repping the Titans back here, so I'll start us off here on this one, Sam. Derrick Henry, he's been outsnapped by the backup rookie running back Tyjae Spears. 2 out of 3 games, he's been outsnapped by the backup. I think this is more of his uh game philosophy for Derrick Henry to hand it off to him because Joe Burrow's been banged up. I've been talking about Joe Burrow for weeks. My queef of the year in that division. T. Higgins, I don't know what he's doing with his inconsistency. He can't seem to catch a ball. I'm going Titans at home. They had Titans look good at home against the Chargers 2 weeks ago. I'm gonna say they get this one in a tight one, something like 17-16. Just a ugly game. We handed off to King Henry a good 20 times. He gets 2 touchdowns, and Tannehill probably throws 2 picks, but it works out.
Okay. For me, of course, I got the Bengals. There's no way I can go with those stinky Titans. The
Yeah.
story of the AFC South for me this year has been the surprise of the Texans and the Colts playing somewhat decently, and the Jags and the Titans not looking so good. For me, there's something going on with the Titans. With Derrick Henry not getting his usual amount of snaps. I just don't know why you would do that.
He's resting a toe injury. He's resting a
All
toe
right.
injury. I don't know how much that has to do with it, but go ahead.
I feel like if you take away Henry, whether you're the ones doing that because of good defense or he's not 100% or the Titans are throwing the ball more, they're one dimensional with the run game. After that, you make Tannehill throw the ball. It's just, I don't know. That 3-pick game against the Saints,
That's
Tannehill's
stuck.
not
That's stuck in your head.
Tannehill's not going to beat you.
No.
And I'll be honest, I thought that the Bengals were really going to struggle with the Rams and end up losing that game. I was surprised that they were able to beat the Rams, who have looked very tough the start of this year. Joe Burrow made it out there, played well. He got Jamar Chase going finally. So I got the Bengals in this one. They told everybody to relax, no, start 0-2. I feel like they might go on a little bit of a run here, stack a couple wins.
They squeaked away from the Rams 19-16. Okay, that's not convincing to me. That was also at home. They're going on the road. That calf is not right. That calf's not right. And to just speak on the craziness of the AFC South currently, our odds according to FanDuel for the division, we got the Jags still leading the way at plus 135. We got the Colts and the Titans both at plus 250 and Houston at plus 850. So that tells me 3 teams are fighting for that division and it's open.
I have to agree with you there. It's wide open.
Moving along, staying in the Sunday games, we got my pick for the juiciest game of the week here. Oh, Buzz, this is juicy. This is also a divisional matchup in the AFC East. We got the 3-0 undefeated Miami Dolphins just hung 70 on the Denver Broncos going on the road. Take on the 2-1 Buffalo Bills. Sam, this has an over under of 54 points. My juiciest game of the week. I'll start us off here. I say the Bills can't keep up with that offense from Miami. Miami keeps it rolling, baby. We'll see about the defense, but right now, if you score 70 freaking points in a game, I'm gonna pick you the next week. I don't care who you're playing.
Similar thought process over here, Matt. For me, it's the Dolphins until the rest of the league proves that somebody can stop them. Um, we have seen the Dolphins go up against a team with a good defense in the New England Patriots, and they made it out of New England just fine with a W. So the Bills have certainly gotten right after that shaky week 1 start. Josh Allen has looked very good. The Bills defense is very tough, playing really well. I think they'll be able to slow down the Dolphins offense, but they're not going to be able to stop them. Give me the Dolphins in a very exciting game.
That baby's gonna be juicy on CBS. I'm gonna have that one on. A not so juicy game. Two teams that are 0-3. One's gonna be 0-4, we assume. We got the Denver Broncos, fresh off that ass beating they took last week, going to Chicago to take on the Bears. I don't know how the Broncos are favored in this game. On the road, they're favored by 3.5, according to ESPN right now. I cannot take them. I cannot take them to win this game. I'm going Chicago at home. Justin Fields finally wakes up. No way in hell I'm taking the Broncos. On the road, get out of here.
Well, this is another one that will differ. I got the Broncos winning this one. Like we were mentioning earlier, the offense in Denver isn't as bad as what people think. It's just really that putrid defense. For me, the Broncos are a better team, and Russell Wilson is a better quarterback. Justin Fields is hot garbage. I regret so
Ooh.
much drafting him in fantasy. He's
Oh, you
a
did. That's right.
he's an above average to premier running quarterback, terrible passing quarterback, just a bad quarterback overall. I think if the Bears get that number one pick, which it's looking like they're certainly competing, if Caleb Williams is there, bye bye, Justin. Bye bye. And I got to go with Sean Payton getting his guys right after just a horrible loss like that. Um, that's another thing. Sean Payton greater than signed Matt Eberflus. Uh, he's a defensive minded coach. You got your starting quarterback saying it's because of the coaching that he's not playing well, making him play robotic. There's controversy. There's people unhappy. A terrible game, but I got the Broncos. The Bears are awful.
Both teams suck. Um, it, I'm not gonna be watching that one, but I got a Bears in the Bears in a tight one. Moving along, staying in the morning slate. Another divisional game here. Another divisional game in the AFC North. We got the Ravens going on the road to take on the Cleveland Browns. Both teams sitting at 2-1. We got another toss up here. Sam, tell me how you feeling.
So coming out of the AFC North for my playoff picture, I have the Ravens winning it and the Browns as a wild card. I don't know. The way things are looking, that might be flipped. There's a lot of football left to play. You know, the Bengals might get right, go on a roll, like I said. But in this particular game, I got the Browns. Browns have looked tough, tough loss in Pittsburgh, but I don't know. I watched that Colts game, obviously, and I don't think the Ravens' defense is all it's cracked up to be. And everyone thought that Baltimore was just going to soar under Todd Monken as the offensive coordinator, but they look choppy, clunky. They haven't figured it out. Lamar is Lamar. He's gonna run, score touchdowns, make plays happen. But that the Browns defense and Miles Garrett, they're gonna give him fits all day. I got the Browns.
Yeah, I was looking at that Browns defense last week, holding my Tennessee Titans to a freaking field goal. And because of that, I got to take the Browns here too. Recency bias. We've only played 3 weeks, but just last week, Browns looked really good, and the Ravens lost at home to the Colts. And you can already assume, Sam, that I took the Ravens with the points on that. So I was bamboozled. I was shocked. I don't know what's going on in Baltimore. I don't know who's going to play running back because Baltimore running backs get hurt every year. It's going to be Lamar and Mark Andrews and Zay Flowers, but they're going to lose this week at Cleveland. All right, Sam, staying in our morning games on Sunday, we got a true pick 'em here. The line is even for the 1-2 LA Rams going on the road. Take on your 2-1 Indianapolis Colts. Over under here's 47, solid over under. Sam, you gonna surprise anybody today with your pick?
No surprise here. I'm going with my Indianapolis Colts. What can I say? Shane Steichen's got me believing in blue. Really encouraged and excited from what I've seen thus far. I think they've surprised a lot of people. And say what you want, but that first game, a couple of plays go a little bit differently. We could easily be looking at a 3-0 Colts team. Um, Coming off of that overtime stunner in Baltimore against the Ravens. Matt Gay breaking NFL record with 4 kicks over 50 yards in the same game. Um,
Wow.
After that game, there was I was pretty riled up. I was pretty riled up
Oh,
uh, in our fantasy group chat. Said something about throwing some goddamn respect on the Colts name on the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast. And you know what? You're not going to do it, and neither is Max. So I'll go ahead and do it. This Colts team is for real. We got a heck of a backup, and that Anthony Richardson kid sure is talented. And yeah, I like the Colts at home. I mean, how could you not be riding high after an overtime victory like that on the road against an undefeated team? So I think the Colts ride that momentum. I think Anthony Richardson and Ryan Kelly, our center, come back from concussion protocol, and it's going to be an exciting game with the Colts W.
you said Ryan Kelly and Anthony Richardson are going to play this week?
I think so. They both went down in the middle of the game against the Texans. They both missed Sunday, so I like both of them to be back by this Sunday, hopefully.
This is a tough game to pick here. Both teams have impressed me. I know the Rams are 1-2, but going on the road week 1, winning in Seattle 30-13. Only losing to the 49ers by a touchdown and only losing in Cincinnati by a field goal. Both teams have impressed me. If Anthony Richardson plays, I'm going to go with the Colts. I'm not.
Oh,
Both teams have impressed me. You know, you remember my bet that I got on the 6.5. I got the under 6.5 win total for the Colts. It's already moved up to 7.5 on FanDuel. Got me nervous right now. Got me nervous. They win this game. Gonna have me more nervous. True toss up. I'm gonna go to the Colts at home if Anthony Richardson plays. If he doesn't play, screw Gardner Minshew. I know he's been solid. I'll go the Rams.
that was something that I meant to mention too, because well, the great thing about the internet and about this audio video podcast is I can go back and rewatch clips and get quotes and then send them back to you. Oh, you said this about the Colts and this about the Colts. So, gotta love Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast for that, if anything else.
Colts have started off impressive in these first 3 weeks, but we got a long season to go. Moving
That is true.
along, moving along, we got another divisional matchup here in the morning slate on Sunday. This time in the NFC South, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers sitting at 2-1, going to take on the New Orleans Saints, also at 2-1, should probably be undefeated. They squandered that 17-0 lead last week. Do you see them getting it done this time at home?
I like the Bucks in this one. I was really interested to watch that Bucks Eagles game. I think that went about how everyone expected, but this is you talk about surprising teams with the Rams and the Colts. I think you throw the Bucks in there too, with Baker Mayfield and that really tough defense. Yeah, I don't know. The Saints are banged up. I don't think Derek Carr is going to be playing. I just like
He's
what.
not supposed to play. No,
Yeah, and with they once Derek Carr went down, they weren't doing anything on offense. And yeah, I like the Bucks to get over that loss to the Eagles, get back on track, and uh, take it to their division rivals, the New Orleans Saints.
you know, I really didn't like what I saw from the Eagles on Monday night. Losing 25-11, it was an okay game, but scoring only 11 points. I'm not feeling the Bucks in this one. I think the Saints get it done at home. Let's not forget Alvin Kamara making his season debut this week.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, I see a big game from Kamara. He, he's been holding in all this juice. He's going to release it on Sunday against Tampa Bay.
So what you're saying is Jameis is going to be eating a W?
I think Jameis throws a couple picks and he ends up getting a W. Staying in the morning slate here. We got another divisional game. We got a lot of divisional games this week, Sam.
I like
We
it.
got we got the 2-1 Salamanders of Washington, another surprise 2-1 team. Going on the road, taking on the undefeated Eagles. I'll make this one quick. Eagles are going to smack them. Sam Howell looked awful last week. I want to say 4 picks. One where just threw it right in front of him to a guy. Salamanders suck. Eagles are going to spank them.
The Buffalo Bills defense said, "Huh, Sam Howell, that's cute, buddy. I'm glad you had a fun start to uh, being an NFL starting quarterback, but
Yeah.
welcome to reality." Um, Eagles also have a tough defense. I think they're going to be tormenting that poor guy all day. I like the Eagles to stay undefeated. Easy victory over the Commanders.
Next game, we got two winless teams here. One not really a surprise, one kind of a surprise. Both 0-3. The Vikings going on the road to take on the Panthers. This is you can call this one a toss up. I don't know. I don't know if Bryce Young's going to play. Andy Dalton didn't look bad last week. I don't care. Too much firepower for Minnesota. Vikings get this one done on the road.
I'm with you. I will say this is an interesting game where if Andy Dalton, aka the backup quarterback, plays over the starter Bryce Young, I could almost see myself picking the Panthers. They look pretty good against Seattle. Andy Dalton's a seasoned vet, been in the league a long time, knows what he's doing. Um, but yeah, I got the Vikings in this one. Ultimately, like you said, too much firepower. Despite being 0-3, they've been humming on offense. If you have Kirk Cousins or Justin Jefferson or T.J. Hawkinson in fantasy, they've been putting up good points for you. Definitely interesting. A lot of people last year were quick to make the point that the Vikings, who had a great regular season record, all those games were won like within one score. And so now I think you're seeing the flip side to that,
Mm-hmm.
where they could have lost a lot of those games. And now this year they are losing a lot of close games.
Yeah, I believe the Vikings were 13-4 last year, 3 seed with a negative point differential. You don't just don't see that. So yeah, maybe coming back down to earth. But who you got in this game?
I got the Vikings
Okay, you're with me on that one.
with you on that one.
Last game in the morning slate on Sunday, we got the 2-1 Pittsburgh Steelers going to Houston to take on the 1-2 Texans. You can call this one also a toss up here. Houston looked great last week, winning by 20 in Jacksonville, but I think the Steelers are going to get this one done on the road. I don't trust Houston's offensive line to stop that pass rush. Steelers got to win over the Browns this year. I think they've kind of got things together after that just a spanking week one by the Niners. I got the Steelers getting this one done on the road.
Yeah, Matt, I like your comment about the Steelers recovering, rebounding after that week one loss. I've been on this podcast before when we were talking about best head coaches in the league. You got Mike Tomlin over there. That's something that he's just not going to stand for. There, you know, perennial team that's at least 500. They got some good young talent on offense. Always have a solid defense, being led by T.J. Watt, who's playing out of his mind. It'd be really easy for me if the Steelers were at home, but even on the road, I like the Steelers over the Texans. It was a nice game by the Texans last week, but I think a lot of people aren't talking about how secretly bad the Jaguars might be this year. So yeah, I got the Steelers as well.
Crazy AFC South right now. Moving into our afternoon games on Sunday, only 3 games again this week. Can we not take one or two of those morning games, move them into this slate? Like, I, I'd rather more than 3 games in the afternoon slate. Call me greedy. But first one up here, divisional matchup, AFC West, 1-2 Raiders going to LA to take on the also 1-2 Chargers. This game's got a 48.5 point over. Could be a lot of scoring here. I'm going to take the Chargers at home. Keenan Allen has been a freaking beast this year. Raiders suck.
We're uh, we're in line on this one as well. Didn't even have to look at my sheet. I know I picked the Chargers in this one. Um, I don't know. I just don't think McDaniels is a good head coach. I think the Raiders got a lot to figure out. Um, and the Chargers, they finally got in the win column, but man, they almost beat the Dolphins. They're a good team, high octane offense, and you just brought up my guy, Keenan Allen, who made me look real smart on the last time I was the guest host, calling him a big time player, extra juicy dog, and a my buddy Mr. Tutty, which he came through. So yeah, I like the Chargers to get things done pretty easily at home against the Raiders.
Next game, we have the 1-2 Patriots going to Dallas, take on the 2-1 Cowboys. Cowboys are 7 point home favorite. Give me the boys. Give me Jerry's world. Tony Pollard going to run all over them.
Yeah, I like the Cowboys in this one as well. It's a bounce back, get right game after that loss to the Cardinals. I'm not going to say an embarrassing loss because I think the Cardinals are a lot better than people think. They could easily be 3-0. Their first two games were very close. But yeah, Patriots have a good defense, but they're not a team you like to watch. They're going to win or lose by 2 points, 1 point, 3 points. If defense is your thing, you love it. But yeah, kind of a boring team to watch. And for me, Mac Jones and the offensive weapons he has is not enough uh, to beat the Cowboys.
Speaking of those offensive weapons, are you starting anybody outside of Ramondre Stevenson for the Patriots?
Maybe Hunter Henry if you don't have an elite tight end. I did pick him up off the waivers. He's had a couple of good games, not so great last week, but tight end position in fantasy is tough. So I would say Ramondre and then maybe Hunter Henry. That's about it.
Yeah, Hunter Henry, not looking bad here. Tight end 3 on the season so far. Last game in the afternoon slate on Sunday, the 1-2 Arizona Cardinals going on the road take on the 3-0 San Francisco 49ers. NFC West divisional matchup. This is the highest line we got on the week, Sam. The Niners are favored by 14 points here. You don't see a line like that. No discussion here. Niners at home. Smacking.
I agree with the no discussion. I also have the 49ers beating the Cardinals. I will say, though, a little bit of disrespect, especially after coming off of that win over the Cowboys. 14 points. That's crazy.
28-16 over the Cowboys. That was impressive, but they come back down to earth this week.
Definitely.
Moving into our Sunday night game here on NBC. This was looking juicy going into the season. Okay, I obviously know why the schedule makers made this, but should probably look into flexing the Bills Dolphins game into Sunday night. But we got the 2-1 Chiefs going on the road to take on the New York Jets. Zach Wilson led New York Jets sitting at 1-2. Sam, we got a lot of gum bumping about Taylor Swift last week making an appearance and Travis Kelce scoring a touchdown. Well, it's probably going to happen again because the Chiefs are going to smack the Jets on Sunday night, NBC prime time. Not going to be a good game.
My apologies to Carrie Underwood because I am not waiting all day for Sunday night. This is going to be a stinker. The Chiefs are going to smack them just like they did the Bears. The Jets have a good defense, so I could see a low scoring game in the first quarter, but then defenses eventually wear out when they're constantly on the field, which is going to be the case because an underrated defense this year is, I think, the Kansas City Chiefs, especially with Chris Jones getting a deal done and coming back. Um, I think they're going to torment Zach Wilson. They can't figure it out on offense. That Jets defense is going to wear out after the first quarter, and then the Chiefs will start running up the score.
I think it's time to look elsewhere for a quarterback in New York.
And to your point, Matt, unfortunately, you can't flex games until after week 5, I believe.
Oh,
But Jerry, or not Jerry, Roger, if you're listening,
Roger.
we should change that.
Hey, Jerry might have some pull there too.
Yeah, you never know.
Staying in New York here, going to Monday night. This baby's going to be on ESPN. We got the New York Giants sitting at 1-2. They're going to host the Seattle Seahawks sitting at 2-1. This game is also a true pick 'em. According to ESPN, this line is even. 47.5 point over under. What are you feeling here on Monday night, Sam?
I can't put my finger on the Seahawks. They look really good at times, other times they're struggling. I did have to think about this one because the Giants, while they did get handled fairly easily by the 49ers, they weren't demolished. I mean, defensively, the Giants are pretty good, but ultimately, I got the Seahawks in this one. Giants got to prove it to me first before I go picking them in a game like this.
Giants, week 1, took a 40-0 blow by the hands of the Cowboys. Week 2, they won by a field goal and a comeback win at Arizona. Last week, got smacked 30-12 by the Niners. No way in hell are they going to beat Seattle. I don't know why this line's even. I don't know if they think Saquon's going to make a return. Saquon ain't playing. Giants are getting Giants are going to get handled in this game. I feel like I don't know why this line's even. After we get out of here, I'm going to go put some money on it on FanDuel.
I'm with you, and I get your point. But after last week, this NFL is insane. I mean, I am not alive in any survivor leagues that I was in
Oh,
after last week. So I'm with you. I think the Seahawks are going to win. I've picked them, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants somehow won that game.
juicy games, a lot of toss ups on the slate. I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be watching.